Alright, hello everyone, and in today's video I will be reviewing the level 150 / tier 4 martial skills. And of course remember, I will be making reviews over all of the other tier 4 skill trees, or all of the tier 4 skills, as well as videos over all of the other older skills from the different tiers. So I will leave links to those in the description as soon as I make those videos. Of course, one thing to remember is that I will leave the more technical information for each of these skills in the description, so if you do want to be more of a precise player, you can always check those out. Anyways, let's get started. Alright, so for our first skill, we have Chariot. So Chariot is a really nice DPS skill, both for pure brawlers as well as foo builds. It has a chance to cause fear, which is really nice. It does have a charge time though, so if you don't have Knuckles equipped, it's probably not a good idea to use it. Though it, like by default, its charge time is like 11 seconds, and it loses one of those seconds per level. So at like level 10, that's only 1 second. And if you equip Knuckles, you lose that extra second. So it's not really a big deal because, if you have Knuckles and the skill's at level 10, which you'll most likely want to get it to level 10 anyways so that it can do damage, there will be no charging time, so it will be instant cast. And of course, with Knuckles, you do get extra power increases, some based on agility. Do note though that, just because it's based on agility doesn't necessarily mean that a pure brawler will do more damage than a foo build. Foo builds will still do more damage than a normal brawler, but of course that doesn't necessarily mean that the skill is completely unusable with a brawler. It is still one of the main DPS skills that you'll be using a lot. Of course, you also get an extra boost on the fear rate, and it even turns into an area of effect skill. So yeah, really nice for anything that has Knuckles equipped, not good for anything that does not have Knuckles equipped. Then of course the next skill over here, Rush. It does cost a little bit less than Chariot, and it does a little bit less damage. But from what I've noticed, because of the way that both of these skills function, both of them are very good skills. Choosing one of them over the other one doesn't really affect your DPS that much. It is more based on which one you prefer to use in a different situation. And one thing to note is that, the special thing about this skill is that it will boost your motion speed, not your attack speed, but your motion speed by an entire 5%, which is a lot, being that the highest your motion speed can get is plus 50%. So the thing is though is that most of this skill's damage is based on a power boost based on your agility. So if you aren't using Knuckles as your primary weapon and going full agility, this skill isn't really going to do much damage for you. So it is finally one of those skills that does more damage, or at least it usually does more damage with an actual brawler than it does with any other build. And of course, it also gets another plus 5% motion speed to the buff, so that's an entire 10%, which is a lot of motion speed. Now, as far as doing damage with other classes, I did do a little bit of calculating, and I figured out that if you're using a two-handed sword user with like around 2,500 attack and 250 critical damage, in total it would do around maybe like, I can't remember how much, but it would be enough to where it could be considered a good skill to use for DPS, but it would still be a lot better for that two-handed sword user to just use their blade skills, because those would do a lot more damage. But yeah, either way, the skill is mostly aimed at pure brawlers, so if you're using a foo build, it would be best just to stick with Chariot. But if you are using a pure knuckle build, both Chariot and Rush would be good skills to get. Then on to our third skill, Chakra. When you use it, it will, restore 50 MP, even though the skill costs 200 MP, so that might not seem like it would actually, be useful, but the main reason you would want to use it is because of the buff it gives you. Now, this buff will increase your AMPR by 15 when the skill's at level 10. And it's not like one of those skills where like you only get the AMPR once the skill is max leveled. The AMPR is increased by level, but obviously if you're going to be using this skill a lot, you probably would want to get to level 10 anyways. So yeah, plus 15 is a lot. And then of course the other effect that this buff gives you is that if you get hit, the damage of that attack will be reduced by a lot. So I think it's like 30% at level 10, and you even get an extra little resistance increase based on your vitality. I haven't confirmed that though, I don't quite know how it works. So, like I said earlier, I will put the more technical information down in the description. And one thing also to note is that it only does that reduction for one attack, and when you do get hit by that attack, the buff will then go away, which means that you also lose the AMPR. So personally, I don't really use this skill because it just seems a little bit too complicated for me, or it just seems sort of like weird. It also has a charge time of like 3 seconds, but luckily that charge time is affected by your casting speed. So if you have a plenty of casting speed, it should be a lot more useful. And of course, if you're using Knuckles, the MP heal amount is increased to 50, which means that it will heal 100 MP. Now the interesting thing about that is that you can actually put this skill into a combo. So if you put it into a 1 MP combo, you would actually end up healing 100 MP, meaning that you could technically create a 0 MP combo, which is very interesting. But of course, personally, I don't know if that would be worth it or not, considering the fact that, it has a charge time. And of course, you also get a boost on the damage reduction. I think it's like another plus 20%, so that's like you'll take 50% less damage from the next attack that hits you. And of course, you also get plus 10 seconds to the duration. And by default, I think the duration is like 10 with 2 seconds per level, so that's 20 seconds by default, and plus another 10 seconds with Knuckles. So of course, I don't really know if this is a good skill or not. I personally prefer not to use it. I put my skill points in other places, but you definitely could try it out if you want to. It does seem like a very interesting skill. Anyways, let's go on ahead and test these out. Alright, so as we can see here, I'm going to go on ahead and test Chariot. As you can see, it does a lot of damage. Of course, one thing to note is that a pure brawler, if they are very well equipped, but also don't have any elements on their weapon, and the skill is in a plus 50% combo, they can do usually around 200k in total. Or, I guess it would just be 200k because it only hits once. But yeah, if that gives you the idea, it does do a pretty good amount of damage compared to a brawler. But a lot of Fu builds are able to hit more than twice as much. So it is definitely not the skill that saves the brawlers from, their poor DPS. Because, brawlers, while they can have a relatively high DPS, that wasn't really their purpose. Yeah, overall, great skill. I enjoy it a lot. A lot of people compare it to the Kamehameha, because that is technically what it is. I'm going to go on ahead and use it again. Really nice. Alright, so now we're going to go on ahead and test Rush. I'm going to test it on this guy first. Pretty okay. It did do less damage than Chariot, of course. And again, just like Chariot, you can do a lot more damage with it. I've seen at most, again, without elements, with a really good brawler, I have seen it do 40k, but that was only in a 30% combo. So you could actually do quite a bit more than that. But still, it does hit a little bit less hard than Chariot does. But overall, still a great skill. You even get the motion speed buff, and that's really great. So let's go on ahead and use it on this guy as soon as I recharge my MP. I don't think he's going to kill me. I don't think he does enough damage to kill me, but he does do enough to tumble me. Let's go on ahead and just do that first. Let's wait. And now let's hit him. Ooh, it didn't crit that time. It's not okay. That's not nice. Toram, why did you do this to me? Okay. Gotta use that again. And hopefully this time when I use it on him, it will kill him. Or at least do a lot of damage to him. Okay, here we go. Let's prorate it just a little bit. And, okay, it didn't crit again. That's, like, really wonderful. Okay, here we go. Nice. And now for the last skill. First, let's see what my AMPR is like. Pretty okay. Of course I'm playing as a brawler, so it's gonna be okay to a certain extent. But now let's try it with Chakra active. As you can see, it got a little bit higher, and since that attack missed, I still have my buff. So that is a nice feature with the brawlers, since they can dodge things more often. It is more likely that they will be able to keep this buff. But other players that get the buff, say from a brawler, because yes, this buff does affect your teammates, it won't be quite as effective for them, mostly because, they're going to lose it a lot sooner. As you can see, if I get hit, it doesn't do quite enough damage, or not as much damage. Let's go on ahead and see if he can hit me again, because that attack did like 65 damage, and that was like an auto attack for him. Let's go on ahead and see what another one looks like. Okay, that one missed. Okay, that one did 44, so I guess this guy just has really low stability. But yeah, it does give you a little bit of extra resistance, and the AMPR is kind of nice. But overall, I just don't think I really like the charge time, because that does take quite of a while for a buff that goes away that quickly. Okay, let's go on ahead and just Kamehameha him. Alright, so that is it for this video. Remember to check the description for extra information, as well as links to other videos that will be somewhat related to this video. For example, the other martial skills videos that I will be making sometime soon, as well as all the other tier 4 skills that, again, I haven't made, so I will be making soon. So anyways, I will see you later.